So the tremendous chus, a great honor and a privilege to be here. Your place is very, very impressive. I'm very excited to be here today. And to meet old and new friends. First of all, I want to thank my dear friend, Dr. Chaim Baruch Ranowitz of Gilbash. What an honor you came. What a schus, what a schus. A person and a Bragner. And it's a tremendous schus to be here today. So our topic that was selected for today is a fascinating one. Teshuva. Ooh, frightening word. We are going to deal with questions and answers, fascinating shalas teshuvas b'halacha. And since I heard a great deal about this place, and I heard there are tremendous scholars sitting here today, I came with a bunch of questions that you are supposed to try and help me figure out the correct halachic approach to solve these cases and these dilemmas. But I want to first start with a tremendous medrash, with a very unknown, famous medrash. That sounds strange. Unknown, famous medrash. The first part of it, everybody knows. The latter part is not so known. It's about Avraham Avinu. We just met him yesterday in the Pasha. And it says in the medrash, and this everybody knows, Avraham Avinu had a tent with 4 doors in all directions because he wanted to ensure there's always guests coming in and out. So everybody knows this. And when a person came in, a guest came in, Avraham Avinu would feed him the best lunch he ever had. And then he'd say, okay, so what do I have to pay? How much is it? And Avraham Avinu says, it's not about money. It's about thanking Ribono Shel Olam. The money, the food doesn't come from me. It comes from above, from Hashem. And the guy says, listen, do me a favor, it's not for me. What do I have to write on the check? And Avraham Avinu says, you just have to bow down to the Ribono Shel Olam and say thank you to him. So if the person agreed, great. If he didn't, so Avraham Avinu would say, well, that's $452. Says, what? Well, it's desert prices, you know. Up here in the middle of Beersheba desert, it's not like in Morristown, New Jersey. This everybody knows. Here comes the surprising part B of the medrash. Once, a very old goy, an 80-year-old goy, comes into Avraham Avinu's tent. And he gave him this lavish dinner. And he said, thank you very much. This was unbelievable. So how much do I owe you? And Avraham Avinu said, has nothing to do with me. Just thank you, Ribono Shel Olam, and say thank you to Hashem. And the guy says, listen, I'm not in that business. Do me a favor. Here's my credit card. Just charge me whatever it is. He says, but the food doesn't come from me. It comes from Hashem. And Avraham Avinu started giving him a combination of Eish HaTorah together with O Sameach, together with Gateways and Chabad and all the Kiruv programs together. And he started arguing with him. And this guy was a stubborn old guy. Couldn't convince him. At one point, after a few hours of arguing, Avraham Avinu says to him, well, okay, so it's $452. And he paid, and he left. Avraham Avinu went to sleep that night. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu came to Avraham Avinu and said, you know, I'm very surprised with you, Avraham Avinu. You know, I have a lot of patience. I've been waiting for 80 years for this guy to do tshuva. You can't do more than a few hours? And Avraham Avinu got up in the middle of the night, took his slaves, took some torches, and went seeking for this guy in the middle of the desert of Beersheba. He found him. He brought him back to his tent. He argued with him for the next few days and was able to convert him. So if an old, 80-year-old, stubborn guy can do tshuva, we can all do tshuva. Today it happens to be the Yortzeit of Harav Shach, Zecher Tzadik Levocha. And he once came to one of the Baalei Tshuva yeshivas in Yerushalayim, Or Sameach. And he met a guy there, so he said to him, can I get a bracha? And Harav Shach said, sure. Where are you learning? He says, I don't learn in this yeshiva. I'm not a Baal Tshuva. And Harav Shach says, but why not? Why are you not a Baal Tshuva? Everybody is supposed to be a Baal Tshuva. In fact, in Shabbos Kuf Nun Gimel, Rebbe Eliezer teaches his students, you got to do tshuva one day before you die. And the students say, but do we know the accounting upstairs? Are we privy to the records of Malach HaMavis? We don't know when our time is up. And Rebbe Eliezer told him, that's exactly the point. You got to do tshuva every day. Who told you you will be here tomorrow? Do you have an insurance policy from HaKadosh Baruch Hu saying you're going to be here? Who says? And therefore we are all supposed to be Baalei Tshuva. So Baalei Teshuva sometimes bring very, very interesting shilas, and we're going to start with the first case. Rabbi said, we're going to need your help. Listen to this maisa, a true maisa. There's a Baal Teshuva who was already 20 years in the business. So he comes and he tells the rabbi, 20 years ago, before I was frum, I went to eat in a restaurant in Tel Aviv. Very, very not kosher restaurant. Very not kosher. The only kosher thing in that restaurant is probably the water. That's how unkosher that place is. Run by a Jewish owner, serving both Jews and non-Jews. So he said, I ate the best lunch I ever had. Delicious. And when it came time to pay, so the guy came over with the check, and I said, excuse me, I just had to go to the restroom for a second. And from the restroom, instead of coming back to the table and paying, he did vayivrach. He disappeared. He fled. And now he comes with a shaila. Tell me, do I have to pay the 500 shekels that it cost me 20 years ago or not? So the rabbi says, what's the shaila? Why won't you have to pay? You're a ganav. You stole 500 shekels. But wait a second. This guy's already 20 years about Teshuva. He's a lamdan. And he says, Rabbi, it's not so pashut. 20 years ago, what exactly did I take? When you steal something, HaKadosh Baruch Hu commands in His Torah, V'heishiv es asher gazal, V'heishiv es agzela, you must return that which you have taken. But what exactly did I take? You look at me very puzzled. Let me explain. We have a Shulchan Aruch in the world. Shulchan Aruch Yoredea. Simen Kuf Yud Zayin. It's very easy to remember what seif because there's only one seif. There's seif Aleph. And the Shulchan Aruch maintains that one is not allowed to benefit from something which is an Isur Torah. Which means, we know that the Torah says we're not allowed to cook meat and milk. It says it 3 times because you're not allowed to eat it, you're not allowed to cook it, and you're not allowed to sell it and benefit from it. But Chazal, Machlokes HaRishonim, but they extend this Isur, this prohibition, to anything which is an Isur, you're not allowed to benefit from. And if that's the case, the Jewish owner of the restaurant was not allowed to sell this to me, so it has 0 value. If 0 value I took, what exactly do I have to give back? And therefore he asks the rabbi, and the rabbi asked me, to run to Morristown, Tiferet Bachurim, and ask, Rabbi Yisai, what do you say? Does he have to pay back or not? By the way, it gives me great pleasure to be here today because the name that this place carries, Tiferet Bachurim, is very close to my heart. I used to daven many times with Maran Rav Eliashiv Zecher Tzadik Livrocha, who passed away about 5 years ago. And his shul in Mea Shorim in Yerushalayim was also Tiferet Bachurim. It's a tremendous chus to be here today. Rabbi Yisai, what do you say? Does he have to pay back 500 shekels or not? Not everybody together, just one at a time. I'm sorry? No, he'll never be arrested. The guy doesn't know. That's not the shaila. It's not a legal shaila. We want to know what does HaKadosh Baruch Hu want. Does he have to pay or not?
Tell you why I think he did. He do.
He does have to pay.
I'll tell you why.
Why?
Because for the owner, it's worth 500 shekels. For himself, right now, after he done Teshuva, is basically done worth 500 shekels. But for him, it's a case of...
Let me ask you something. What if I steal from you a burnt, broken toothpick? Do I have to give it back?
If I wanted, yeah.
How much is it worth?
Even though Shvei Pruta can...
It's less than Shvei Pruta. Is there a mitzvah to return something which is less than Shvei Pruta? You're still not allowed to steal. We paskin chatzi shiur also min haTorah. One is not allowed to do something even if it's less than the minimal shiur, but you're still not allowed to do it. However, there is no returning because it's less than a Shvei Pruta. So if he was not allowed to sell at that time, so it's less than a Shvei Pruta. If it's less than Shvei Pruta, why do I have to return? Does it have an influence on? Of course. That is our question. Since it's not kosher, he was not allowed to sell it. If he wasn't allowed to sell it, there is no value. If 0 value I took, 0 value I'll return. Give you an example. If somebody steals chametz she'avar olav haPesach, Chazal imposed a penalty on chametz owned by a Jew, which was not sold before Pesach, and you are not allowed to benefit from it. So what if I steal this type of chametz? Do I have to give it back? If I give it back, you know what the Gemara says? I give it back and I say, Harei shelcha lefanecha. Here, do whatever you want with it. You can't do anything with it. It's also be'ano. So why does he have to give back if it's valueless? Somebody wanted to answer that? Yeah.
I think he has to give back because it's two separate things. Well, there's multiple separate things because, like in an example, when someone murders someone, the person being punished isn't punished because the person died. He's being punished because he committed the act of murder.
Good.
And also, the concept that there's two separate things that he did wrong. Okay, he ate treif, but that doesn't determine whether he can steal 500.
The fact that he ate treif is a problem that he has with Ribono Shel Olam. Separate issue. The question is, does he have to give back the money that he took or that he used, he benefited from, if the guy wasn't allowed to do it? It's such a severe issue that according to most poskim, a Jew is not allowed to be a waiter in a non-kosher restaurant because he, again, is benefiting from the non-kosher food. So the Jewish owner was not allowed to sell this, therefore there was no value. If there was no value, why should he have to return?
If he wasn't allowed to sell it, why does that mean it's no value?
If you sell air, how exactly will I return air? It's air. That's the value that it had at that time, 20 years ago.
Not everything that you're not allowed to sell is something that doesn't have value.
If you're not allowed to benefit from it, it's as if we were to say to you, you have to consume it in fire.
He's not allowed to benefit from potato salad he made on
Okay, fine, good.
potato salad.
But I said before, the only kosher thing there was probably the water. You want to give him something for sitting on his chair, there's also some kind of a benefit. 5 shekels for that, and for the music, he'll get another 3 shekels. What else is there? The beautiful decor they had on the... Another 15 shekels. Instead of 500, let's narrow it down to 450.
Maybe Al-Piadin he doesn't need to give it back. But maybe you could say that the same minyan of Shabbat of Ida Goy. Maybe you could say, since now you're religious and it's going to be a Kiddush Hashem, maybe you could help the other guy do Teshuva because of this.
Interesting. But we are looking for Shuras Hadin. We are looking to know what is the din. If I want to be a nice guy afterwards, I can find a lot of mitzvahs to do Kiddush Hashem. We want to find out if there is an inyan, halachically, to give back the 500 shekels. It's not so pashut, by the way, to give back Aveda to a goy. Only if you know there will be a Kiddush Hashem are you allowed to do it. Otherwise, you're not allowed to give back a Kiddush, an Aveda to a goy.
Well, you could say that there is a Yisur in the Hepsi, in the Gavro, so that Gavro is stole that thing. Who cares that he stole non-kosher food? Is the Yisur in himself?
Because if the owner wasn't allowed to benefit, the value attached to that item which he stole is 0. So 0 he has to give back.
But at the moment he just stole $500.
Well, what did he did not? It's $500 that you're not allowed to own. So he didn't take anything from you. He did you a favor. He saved you. You're supposed to ask me, but wait a second. We all know that in the slaughtering houses, many times when there's a treif chicken, we do sell it to the goyim. How does that work? We just said you're not allowed to benefit from it. The answer is, one is not allowed to be in the non-kosher business. B'derech keva. But if it's what's called nizdamen lo, I'm in the kosher business. I slaughter kosher chickens. Every so often I get a non-kosher one that you're allowed to sell. But this guy was in the non-kosher business and therefore he wasn't allowed to sell. The Rashba explains that the reason for this is because we're afraid. If you're going to sell non-kosher food, you're going to come to eat from it. It's very easy. That's what waiters do. That's what owners do in restaurants. They eat their food. And the Shach and the Taz in Kuf Yud Zeh Yoredea, they bring the Rashba, that's the reason. So this question went to Rav Elyashiv Zecher Tzadik Livrocha, and he said, what a brilliant insight. Rav Elyashiv says, what do you say? That it was valueless at the time? You're wrong. You know why? Because that morning, 20 years ago, when the owner got up, he could have said, no longer am I in the non-kosher food. I'm in the kosher food business. I'm in the kosher restaurant industry. And at that point, instantly, everything non-kosher in the restaurant becomes nizdamen lo. It becomes something which you're allowed to sell. So it does have a value. So don't tell me you stole nothing. You stole 500 shekels. But he didn't do tshuva. You're right, but he could have. You see the koyach of tshuva, it can turn 0 to 500. With what? With a thought of tshuva. He didn't do anything. The thought that he may have wanted to do tshuva can change from 0 to 500. If it can do that to non-kosher food, imagine what it does to you. Imagine what it can do to your neshama. How it can elevate you. Talking about food and talking about tshuva and talking about money. How much does it cost to bring a yid back? How much does it cost to create a Baal Tshuva? Do you know? Rebbetzin Kanievsky, Aloha Sholom, passed away about 5 years ago. Chol Hamoed Sukkot Shabbos. I want to tell you an unbelievable story about her. But we start going down south to Be'er Sheva. Familiar with Be'er Sheva? Like the ground is especially for you. There was a female commander in the Israeli army in a base in Be'er Sheva. This lady was very, very secular, very anti. Anything that looked black and white was, oh, stay away, that's the enemy. Yeah, unfortunately, there are some people like that. She had all kinds of issues, all kinds of problems. And she was telling one of the soldiers there in the base about her problems, her girlfriend. So she tells her, you know, there's a very, very big Rebbetzin in Bnei Brak. Her name is Rebbetzin Kanievsky. Maybe you should go get a bracha from her. You never know. What? I should go to the rabbis, to the Rebbetzins. That's not for me. What do you have to lose? You tried everything else. What do you have to lose? No, 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 no. She convinced her and convinced her. And then she said, you know what? I'll come with you. You'll come with me. I don't know. Fine. They took a bus from Be'er Sheva to Bnei Brak. It's a long ride. They get to Bnei Brak, and they ask people, how do I get to the house of Reb Chaim Kanievsky? Take this bus. They wait 45 minutes for the bus. They get on the bus, and after 5 minutes, there's a young guy sitting in front of them, studying, his head is in the Gemara. So, excuse me. He is in the Gemara. Excuse me. Yeah. How do I get to the house of Reb Chaim Kanievsky? Oh, you got to get off here. Oh, thank you very much. They get off the bus. And they look around. They don't know Bnei Brak. So they ask someone, how do you get to the house of Reb Chaim Kanievsky from here? Here? Why did you get off here? You have another 2 stops. So this commander says to a friend, you see, I told you, they hate us. They saw us. We're not dressed as they would like us to be dressed. They don't want us to come to the house of Reb Chaim Kanievsky. They hate us. Let's go back. Back to Be'er Sheva. And the friend says to her, but you're already here. What do you have to lose? Let's go. She says, no, they hate us. She convinced her a little more. She says, okay, fine. They waited another 45 minutes for the next bus. Hopped on the bus. They get off, this time in the right stop. And they walk to the house of Reb Chaim Kanievsky. I don't know if you're familiar with Reb Chaim Kanievsky, but the house has some steps going up. In the middle of the steps, there's the guy sitting and blocking. You can't go up. And they look around and they can't believe it. It's the same guy from the bus, from before. So the commander says to his friend, you see, I told you, they hate us so much, this guy came, he made sure he's going to protect this place, that we don't come in. You know what? I'm going to go straight through. I don't care about this guy anymore. And she says to him, excuse me, slicha, excuse me. And he looks and he says to them, oh, it's you. I was waiting for you. What? You were waiting for us? Yes. You know, we shared the same bus ride before, and I felt so terrible. I realized what I did. I told you to get off in the wrong stop. I was in the middle of my learning. I didn't know what was going on. I felt so bad, but you already left. And I wasn't supposed to come here today, but I changed everything, and I came here today just to apologize. Please say that you can find it in your heart to forgive me. I feel so bad. And while he's saying it, he took out a little bag from his pocket, and he gives them, and he says, here's 8 shekels and 40 agorot. That's the bus ride that I caused you to take another bus. So it's 4 shekels and 20 agorot each. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. And they couldn't believe it. They never saw anything like it. They go upstairs, and they get into Rebbetzin Kanievsky, and they tell her the whole Maaseh. And Rebbetzin Kanievsky says to them, you see what the values of Torah can do to a person, can mold him into such a mensch. What a beautiful, beautiful midos. This is what Bnei Torah are like. And this commander says to Rebbetzin, if this is what they represent, if this is the group, I want to become one of those people. She became a Balas Tshuva. Today she has 8 children in the best yeshivas and seminaries in Eretz Yisrael. So how much does it cost to bring a person back? $1.25. 4 shekels. 20 agod, you can make a Bal Tshuva. If you do everything right. Midos Toivus. You change a person, and in fact you change the world entire. So as we said, Baal Tshuva many times have interesting shaylas. Listen to the following shayla. Maran Arav Aaron Leib Shteiman, he was just released from the hospital yesterday, and he needs Rachmei Shamayim. You know, he's young, he's only 104 years old. He needs Rachmei Shamayim and Refuah, so maybe we should dedicate the Shiur for his Refuah, complete, speedy Refuah. He was asked a fascinating question by a Baal Tshuva and a fascinating question by a Baalas Tshuva, a boy and a girl. The guy asks him, listen, I'm on my way. Slowly getting into it, but whoa, there's a lot of things to do, a lot of things to change. So I'm willing to take upon myself one thing. You tell me what. I'm willing to take upon myself either Shabbos, I'm going to become a Shomer Shabbos, or Taharas HaMishpacha, family purity. I'm married. What is it? And don't tell me to combine because it's not happening. I'm not there yet. I'm willing to take one thing on myself. Taharas HaMishpacha or Shabbos. This is a Baal Shuva's question. A Baalas Shuva asks Reb Steinman another interesting question. She says, am also on my way, and I'm willing to take on myself one thing. I don't have a lot of money. I have 250 shekels. And with that, please guide me and tell me, what do I do? Do I kasher my kitchen or I kasher my wardrobe? Tznius or a kosher kitchen? What do I do? Let's start with the guy. Rabbi say, what do you say? Help Reb Steinman. He was just released from the hospital. Shabbos or Taharas HaMishpacha?
So say that keeping Shabbos is Shekhet to Kol Torah.
You're quoting a Chazal. Chazal say that keeping Shabbos has the weight corresponding to all the mitzvahs. And if somebody doesn't admit in Shabbos, it's as if he's a heretic. It's koifer b'chol ha'torah. So therefore you say, Shabbos. Pashut. Anyone wants to disagree? Or to bring another source? Said something there. What do you say, Rabbi say? Everybody agrees? You're sending us to Yuma Pei Vav, where Chazal say, why is it that we are allowed to violate Shabbos to save a person, violate one Shabbos in order to make sure that he keeps many Shabbosos in the future? So you're saying, with him, let him keep Shabbos.
No, I'm saying do
Taharas HaMishpacha. How will you get Shabbos later in the future? I thought you wanted to say keep one Shabbos, that will influence him and he will keep all the Shabbos, and maybe he's going to influence to other things as well. You're saying family purity, and somehow he will find Shabbos as well. I need documentations, sources. Shulchan Aruch, Chumash, Shasu Poiskim, something. Yeah. And keeping Shabbos does not make you Kodesh? Mamleches Koyanim veGoy Kadosh, a pasuk in Yisrael says that we are supposed to be a light unto the nations. We are supposed to be holy. How? When we walk in the ways of a Kodesh Baruch Hu. When you keep Torah and mitzvahs, you are holy. The truth is you are holy no matter what. But you have to ascend in levels of holiness. So when you keep family purity, you're a Kadosh. When you keep Shabbos, you're a Kadosh. Kodesh Kadoshim. Who knows what brings you higher on the ladder of Kedusha?
It's not Taharas HaMishpacha, a part of it's not keeping Shabbos, a part of Taharas HaMishpacha. You can keep your Mishpacha Tahor if you're not keeping Shabbos.
In theory, yeah. In theory, yeah. Kind of funny to say that. But yeah, he eats only kosher and he violates Shabbos. There can be people like that. He keeps Taharas HaMishpacha, but he does not keep Shabbos yet.
Also, you need to be separated from non-Jews.
Yeah.
Or the Taharas HaMishpacha is separated from non-Jews.
No, he's married to a Jewish lady.
That's why. How are you differentiate between a Goy and a Jew?
How are you differentiate between a Goy and a Jew if you're driving on Shabbos and doing everything wrong on Shabbos? The Goy does as well. So in both ways, we see a big hecker that he's a Jew.
I don't understand. Taras Mishpacha is not his decision alone to make.
His wife is going to agree to whatever he says. He's the boss.
I think you got it mixed up.
Okay.
I think they will eat kosher at home. If they will eat kosher at home.
Kosher is not the issue with the guy. That's the girl's question. We're going to get to her in a second. He wants to know, Shabbos or Taras HaMishpacha? Tefillin are great. We recommend it to everyone almost every day of the year. But he's asking us, right now, only Shabbos or Taras HaMishpacha? And we have to answer the question at hand.
Taras Mishpacha, because there's the Halacha that the first thing we build in communities in the which shows that there's a lot of importance to it.
Beautiful.
Not necessarily
Beautiful.
and it also affects other lives.
Givaldik. One is not allowed to live in a place where there is no mikveh. Fantastic.
On one hand, Shabbos will be, Taras Mishpacha won't only affect him, will affect all the future generations also. Shabbos, will affect him and his family at present. Will affect all the future generations.
Good, good. Shmir is Shabbos with everything that Shabbos entails.
So, if that's true, because keeping Shabbos itself is a testament to the fact that Hashem created the world, and specifically within Kiddush, that's the active epitome of that, is recognizing that Hashem created the world.
That's where it starts.
It used to be that the old world, people were from or not from based on whether or not they kept Shabbos. And I heard a place that somebody I once say, if somebody answered this question, if he was going to do one thing, he was going to let everything go, he was going to do one thing, he should make Kiddush. But that was such an anchor that would...
That's when a person is not giving you the options and you're telling him what to do. But he comes with a question, what should I prefer? But normally, in order to assess which is more severe, we have to look at the punishment. What's the punishment for violating Shabbos? Chorus? Skila. The most severe punishment out there. Skila, if a person did it b'mezid. What's the punishment for Taras HaMishpacha? Chorus. Chorus or skila? Which has more weight? Skila. So lichora, our answer is pashut. It's Shabbos. But before we answer, let's go and attack the girl. What did she ask us? Kosher kitchen or kosher wardrobe? Sneeze or kashrus? Kitchen. Why kitchen? So memele will affect the outside as well. Nice. Anyone disagrees? What's that? Punishment. I just gave you the secret, huh?
No, I'm also the son of a lawyer.
Oh. Rabbi say, what do you say? Sneeze or kashrus?
It's so well versed in the halacha. Which one? They're holding at zero, and they're going in this verse. First of all, what's the whole background of being chayav?
The background is being born a Jewish person. Boom, you're 12 years old as a girl, you're chayav in all mitzvahs. I don't care what your background is. You may not know, which will impact punishment, but you're chayav in all mitzvahs.
Which one is going to lead them to keeping halacha?
That's what I came to ask you. That's the $50,000 question. I don't know.
Because it's new, basically it's more for other people. It says not making other people see. Keep kosher is more for herself.
And you're saying, Bab Metzia Nuntes, Chayecha Kodmin, you come first. So you have to take care of yourself, so therefore you should kasher your kitchen. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not sure, because I think if you bring other people, they have enough. So maybe it's a bad influence for their environment. It's
Excellent.
it's
Excellent.
style.
Excellent.
Basically, it's a bigger problem.
Excellent.
Set in a way.
I can't think of like a halachic source, but if you dressing seriously does have an internal effect because other people are going to be treated.
Oh.
There's a reason why we wear black and white. Like I said earlier, so like that's.
I thought that's just because it's in fashion now. You're saying there's another reason. I see.
And when she goes news, she walk in the middle.
You should know there's actually a source to wearing black and white in the Gemara. For Baalei Teshuva. Pilei ploim ava maise. Moed katan daf yud zayin, I believe, in Chagiga daf tes zayin, the Gemara says a remarkable thing. What should a person do if he suddenly feels an urge to do an avera? There's a Gemara like this. I didn't make it up. The Gemara says, Yilbash shechoirim, he should wear black and go to a place where no one knows him, v'yaseh masher libo chafetz, and then do whatever he wants. That's what the Gemara says. Rashi and Tosfos explain because we want to minimize the Chilul Hashem involved. So wear different attire, go to a place where nobody knows you, and do what you need to do. Rabbeinu Hananel explains, we hope that on the way there you will think to yourself, what, am I nuts? I have to pack my suitcases, take a flight to a place where nobody knows me, I have to change my clothes. I gotta be crazy. And then by the time you get there, you'll change, you'll turn around, you'll come back, and you will not sin. But there is a sefer from about 350 years ago from a Mekubal who explains this Gemara totally different. And he says, when the Gemara says, what should a person do if he feels his Yetzer is taking the better of him? What Yetzer? Not Yetzer Hara. The only Yetzer, the Yetzer HaTov. If you feel you want to become frum, you want to connect to Kodesh Baruch Hu, but you're so embarrassed, what are people going to say? What are my neighbors, family going to look what happened to him? Ooh, what happened to him? So you know what you should do? Suggests the Gemara. Go to a different town where nobody knows you. Put on black like a normal Haredi dress code and do Mashali Boy Chafetz and do what your heart really desires. What is your heart desires? We know that from the Rambam. When a person does not want to divorce his wife, even though Beis Din said he must divorce his wife, what do we do to him? We beat him up until he will say, oh, okay, I want to. What do you mean you want to? You don't want to? Yes, you do. It's just you're clouded right now by the Yetzer Hara, but your real inner you, Yetzer HaTov, wants to. So when the Gemara says, Yaseh Masher Libo Chafetz, do what your heart really desires, it's referring to the Yetzer HaTov. How? Wear a black coat. We have a source in the Gemara. However, let's get back and answer our nice two guys that came with a question. Reb Steinman, the chiddush in this, in the first question of the guy, was that Reb Steinman didn't know what to answer and went to Reb Elyoshiv Zatzal to ask him. That in itself is a big chiddush. Reb Elyoshiv says, Shabbos or Taras HaMishpacha? Taras HaMishpacha. Why? Two reasons. Taras HaMishpacha is two people sinning. Shabbos is only you. Taras HaMishpacha comes first. Two for the price of one, but more than that. In Baba Metzia Lamed Beis, we learn that Kfiyas HaYetzer, succumbing, beating the Yetzer Hara, is a tremendous thing. How does the Gemara learn it? You have to help your friend unload his donkey. It's a mitzvah's essay in the Torah. It's a positive commandment. Why? Sar Ba'alei Chaim. The animal is suffering. But what if, the Gemara asks, you have your donkey's friend and you need to help him unload. And you have the guy which you can't stand, and you have to help him load the animal and cause her extra suffering. What should you prefer? And the Gemara says, you should help your enemy first. Why? Because we don't like you not liking other Jews. What does it mean? You hate another Jew? We have to be koife the Yetzer. You have to kill your Yetzer Hara and go and help, even though it's going to entail additional suffering to the animal. We prefer that, even though Tzar Ba'alei Chaim is Dioraisa. So Rebbe Yosef explained, Taras HaMishpacha, there's a tremendous Yetzer for that, but we don't find such a Yetzer to violate Shabbos. So you see from the Gemara, it's a very big inyan to be koife the Yetzer. So we have two people sinning as opposed to one. We have the inyan of Kfiyas HaYetzer, and therefore Rebbe Yosef said, you should prefer Taras HaMishpacha. And what about our girl? Kosher, or tznius? Tznius. One reason, like you explained. Tznius, it's not only you sinning, you're causing others to sin. Every time you step out of the house, you're causing all the men to sin. So it's again two or multiple people as opposed to one, but more than that. We have a big rule. When you have something which is rabbinic in nature or from the Torah in nature, the Rabbanon or the Yoraisa, what should we prefer? The Yoraisa. All the questions you will have in the kitchen are the Rabbanon, because nothing was cooked here in the last 24 hours. It's all derabanan. Nothing is what's called ben yoim, or nothing was used here the last 24 hours. You can also eat vegetables. What's the problem? So it's only a derabanan type of isurim, type of prohibitions. Well, tznius is dioraisa. So of course you should prefer dioraisa, and you're causing others to sin as well, over derabanan, and therefore that was the answer. But we should wish these people, both the guy and the girl, that in mitzvah Hashem, they should be able to keep all Taryag mitzvah shebatoya. This place, is so impressive to me. It reminds me of a maaseh. Down south from here, Maryland. There was a Yid who wanted to go to college. It's reminding me because this place is so big, it's like a college campus. So this guy wanted to go to a certain college in Maryland, a Catholic college. This guy grew up with zero background in Torah or mitzvahs, and he went for the interview, and the dean of the place was a Catholic priest. So he was worried if he's going to find out he's Jewish, he's probably not going to want to accept him. So he didn't look Jewish, and he didn't think he was going to be asked. He went into the interview, and he starts talking, and he was very impressive, so he made a good impression. But then the priest asks him, tell me, are you Jewish? I guess there's something about us. I don't know what it was. Maybe the horns. I don't know. Are you Jewish? And the guy starts thinking, what do I do? If I say yes, I'm not going to be accepted. If I say no, I'm lying. And I'm not a liar. And suddenly, he found the courage, and he said, yes, I am. Knowing this is it. But suddenly the priest says to him, you're Jewish? You're accepted. One condition though. You must come to me every week for an hour and a half appointment twice a week, every single week. Is that okay with you? Sure. No problem. He comes in for the first appointment. And the priest asks him, what do you know in Gemara? What's that? Okay, Gemara. What is that? You don't know Gemara? You know Mishnayos? Is this Chinese? What are you saying? Do you know Chumash? What is Chumash? What are these words? You know Aleph Beis? I don't know what you're saying. The priest started teaching him Aleph Beis. And then Gimel Dalet. And the following week, Hey and Vav. And Zayin and Chet. And the whole Hebrew Aleph Beis. 4 or 5 weeks later, he started teaching him Chumash Bereshis. Bereshis bara Elokim. A few months later, he started teaching him some Mishnayos. He comes every week, twice. And a few months later, he started teaching him Gemara. 3 years. At the end of the 3 years, he's about to leave the college. So he says to him, what do I do now? Where do I go now with all this information and knowledge? What's my next step? And the priest tells him, you go to Rabbi Wuderman in Ner Yisod in Baltimore. There's a yeshiva there. You should go there. Okay. Can I ask you something? What in the world was going on here in the last 3 years? Why are you teaching me my religion? And the priest says, let me explain. Years ago, I took a sabbatical. And many priests do that. They take a sabbatical and they go to Israel to spend the year. My first Friday night, I went to the Koisel HaMa'aravi, Wailing Wall. I went to the Koisel. And I was so overwhelmed. So many Jews davening with such concentration and focus and enthusiasm and excitement. And they're swaying back and forth. And I never saw anything like it. And suddenly I felt a little tap on my shoulder. Yeah? This guy with the white beard. He says, hey, how you doing? You're visiting? Where are you eating tonight? In my hotel? No, you're not eating in your hotel. You're coming to me. He's Rabbi Noach Weinberg, Zecher Tzadik Livrocha. He started Eish HaTorah. So I came to him. Fantastic meal. It was great. The food, out of this world. And we sang, and he gave all kinds of great thoughts. And then he said, so where are you eating tomorrow? In my hotel. No hotel on Shabbos. You're coming to me. So I came to him for lunch, and lunch was out of this world. And then he said to me, why don't you come to my yeshiva on Sunday? So I came. And Rabbi Weinberg saw a tremendous potential in me. This is what the priest is saying. So he started teaching me the Aleph Beis. And then he taught me Chumash. And then he taught me Mishnayos. And then he taught me Gemara for a whole year. And at the end of the year, I was supposed to go back. I have a job to catch. I'm a priest. So I tell Rabbi Weinberg, okay, so thank you so much. Next week I'm out of here. And Rabbi Weinberg put so much pressure on me. No, don't leave the yeshiva. Stay here. Why do you have to go to America? Stay here for a little more. I said, I can't. I have to go back. They're waiting for me. What do you mean they're waiting for you? Who's waiting for you? No, it's okay. I didn't want to tell him. But he put so much pressure. I caved. And I told him, I'm not Jewish. I'm a Catholic priest. And Rabbi Weinberg started crying. And he told him, you should know, I'm not moichel you, not in this world and not in the next. I don't forgive you. I invested so much time, so much energy in you. I thought you're Jewish and I taught you everything that you'll be able to continue and maintain your life as a Jewish person. I'm not moichel you. I don't forgive you, not in this world and not in the next. And the priest started crying. Please be moichel me. Forgive me. I'm not moichel you. Forgive me. Rabbi Weinberg told him, I will forgive you on one condition. If at one point throughout your life, you will have the opportunity to teach a Jew what I taught you, and you will, then I will forgive you. And 3 years ago, when you came to me to the interview and you said you're Jewish and you don't know anything, I said, wow, this is my mechila opportunity. This is my forgiveness from Rabbi Weinberg. He sent me you from Shamayim. And therefore I taught you, last 3 years, everything that I knew in order to ask forgiveness from Rabbi Weinberg Zatzal. You never know what your actions how they will impact others in the future. You see, you even teach a goy what that does. Not that I recommend go and find going and teach them Aleph Beis Chumash Mishnayos and Gemara. But you never know what you said before. The guy on the bus asking forgiveness, smiling, doing the right thing, how it can impact one person, and in fact how it can impact the world entire. Now, guys, we're traveling to Netanya. Ever been to Netanya? We have a shayla coming from Netanya. A frum guy passed away. He left 12 million shekels. Let's talk in dollars. $12 million to his son and daughter. His son and daughter went off the derech big time. If the derech is here, they're right there. They're very, very not frum. Both the boy and the girl. In his will, he wrote, I want to give $10 million to my boy and $2 million to my girl. One condition. I want my son to go every day to the shul 3 times a day and say Kaddish for my neshama. If he misses one Kaddish throughout the year, one Kaddish, then the 12 million should be divided equally. 6 million to the boy and 6 million to the girl. And when they opened the will and his daughter saw that, she says, yes, easy money. My brother will never be able to do 3 times a day. You kidding me? Early morning, after work, mincha marib, not happening. So what did she do? She hired a private detective to follow her brother to see. And all we need is for him to miss one Kaddish, one davening, and that's it. She just earned how much money? 4 million extra, because she's already getting 2 million. But if it will be divided equally, she'll get 6, so 4 million. Worthwhile investment, private investigator, no problem. The private investigator follows her brother, and he sees this guy, unbelievable. He gets up early morning, he goes to shul, he stands there like a mourner among people who are in the middle of the wedding. No talis, no tefillin, he just stands there and waits for somebody to point to the siddur. Now. So he says the Kaddish now. He doesn't daven, he doesn't do anything. Fine. He finishes his work. He comes back for mincha ma'ariv. Mincha. Stands there like this. When? Now. Kaddish. Mincha stops. Mincha ends. And the rabbi there gives a little shiur between mincha ma'ariv. As soon as he hears words of Torah, he splits. And he asked the rabbi, if you don't mind, when you finish, before ma'ariv starts, come out and call me. I'd like to say Kaddish for my father. I said, sure, no problem. So this is how it's been working. He comes for mincha, he goes right after mincha. Ma'ariv, the rabbi calls him back and he stands and he says his Kaddish and he splits. 3 months like this. After 3 months, the detective, investigator, calls the daughter and says, listen, I think you're wasting your money. your brother is unbelievable. He's so committed. He never misses a davening. What? He comes early morning? Yeah, I follow him. He's there. He's one of the first people there. Wow. He comes for mincha? Yeah. He leaves after mincha. Oh! No, but he comes back. How does he know? How does he know how to come back? So he explains. He asks the rabbi to call him, and the rabbi comes out, and he calls and says, okay, thank you very much, my friend. Thank you very much. She immediately picks up the phone. She finds out, who's this rabbi? And listen to what she suggests to the rabbi. Dear rabbi, she says to him, I understand that you have some kind of a deal with my brother. You know my brother, the guy who's recently came into Yeshua. You should know he's not into this at all. He doesn't believe in anything that he's doing. He doesn't like your davening. He doesn't like anything. He is in there for the money. You know what money? We're talking about 12 million shekel that my father left. If he's going to miss 1 million, he's going to lose out, and I'm going to get the 6 million. So Rabbi, I want to offer you something. I understand that you are responsible for him coming from Ma'ariv. It's only because you go out and you call him. I also understand there's a lot of needy people in your community. So how about this? If you don't call him one evening, I'm only talking about one evening. I'm not talking about something active. Just be passive and stay in shul. Forget to call him. You don't have a contract with him. Forget to call him. If you do that, I will get extra 4 million shekels. Out of that, I will give 10% to your needy people in the community. I will give you 400,000 shekels to distribute to the people in your community. Rabbi, what do you say? Whoa. The rabbi was very confused. What do you do? And therefore he asked me before I left Eretz Yisrael last week to come here quickly and to ask Rabbi Isai, Dayani Mumchim. Rabbi Isai, Dayani Mumchim. What do you say? What do you say?
He forgets, sends him to another shul to daven Marav, takes the project out.
You can eat the cake and somehow it should stay full. It just doesn't work. It's either or. Rabbi say, what do you say? Help out the rabbi.
I would say you should find someone else who can remind this guy.
Yeah.
And offer that guy whatever he could afford, or even not offer him anything, but just make sure someone else is. That way he doesn't have to down the test, and he could.
But that's not really going to help us. If he's going to tell someone else to do it, he was not going to miss the Kaddish. If he's not going to miss the Kaddish, he shouldn't get any of the money. The daughter is not going to get any of the money. Excuse me, how did I sin? Am I committed? Do I have a contract with him? Do I owe him anything? I forgot. But what kind of a Kaddish it is? It's a Kaddish without any kavana. All he's in is for the money.
So he has kavanah, like you said, the Rambam.
Very good. You're sending us to Hilchos Gittin in the Rambam. There is no shoichad. There is no shoichad. It's called a business deal. $400,000 of a business deal. Why shoichad? Shoichad is to a judge. I'm offering you to forget. You never forgot anything in your life? Just forget something once.
I would make a deal with your brother.
What's that?
I would make a deal with your brother.
Yeah, exactly. You offer me 400,000. What do you offer? Deal.
Very good.
Also, you have Pirkei Avos that says mitzvah, gereris mitzvah. So if he does 9 more months of Kaddish, then it could very easily cause a mitzvah. It could even easily
Maybe, but there are $400,000 there for needy people that need it now to be able to eat, to make Shabbos next Shabbos. What mishal did I give before the Veiver? What stumbling block did I put before a blind person? I'm not doing anything active. I'm staying back. I'm being passive. To put a stumbling block, you have to be active.
You're telling the guy you're going to remind him and you forget.
I didn't tell him. He asked me and I said, okay. I'm not allowed to forget anything throughout a year. I'm just human.
You're not forgetting. It's all.
Say that because if he's supposed to get 400,000 shekels, doesn't matter if he doesn't get it.
Money comes from a Kodesh Baruch Hu, you say, not from not good smelling business deals.
Can I ask you a question? And Urban Bet HaMikdash Hasheni?
The destruction of the second base of Mikdash.
It's the same concept, I think. That they bring sacrifice question is, you do sacrifice or not do sacrifice?
Interesting. You're sending us to Gittin Daf Nun Vav Amud Beis, where we learn the story about Zechariah ben of Kulas. Fantastic. This Shaila went to Reb Steinman Shlita. The rabbi came to ask him, and he told him the whole Maaseh. He says, what do I do? Do I keep calling him or not? And Reb Steinman says, you know, all your calculations are fascinating. What about the girl? What about the guy? What about $400,000? And what about the anim in your neighborhood? You're just forgetting one thing. Tell me, who does this money belong to? The father that died. What did he want? That Kaddish should be said to him the entire year. So all these calculations have nothing to do with this. You have to honor the request of the person who's no longer here. He owns the money. Fine. So the rabbi says to Rav Steinman, but wait a second. Doesn't this involve bizayon HaTorah? It's a disgrace to Torah. You know, as soon as I open my mouth, the first word of the Shiur, boom, the guy runs out. Chas v'shulam. He's going to hear divrei Torah. It's bizayon HaTorah. It's a disgrace to Torah. Rav Steinman opened up his big eyes and said to him, excuse me? Is your name Mr. Torah? What do you mean bizayon HaTorah? Continue calling him. You know what happened? He continued calling him. Because when you go and you ask a shaila to a chacham, you have to listen. 2 weeks later, the brother, whom he calls every day, he asks the rabbi after shul, tell me, I want to ask you something. Tell me, are you insulted? Are you offended that as soon as you start your shiur, I leave? No, not at all. Really? You don't? It doesn't bother you? No. How come it doesn't bother you? The rabbi says, you know what I do in the shiur? I give free diamonds and pearls to those who are present. Somebody who doesn't want diamonds and pearls, I'm not going to force him. So what do you mean you give diamonds and pearls? This is what I do. So what do you mean? He says, Pasuk in Mishlei says, the Torah is more precious than pearls. There's nothing in this world that comes close to it. I give free diamonds and pearls. If somebody doesn't want it, I'm going to force him? This is really how you view Torah? Yeah. Well, maybe I'll come in one of these days, check it out. You're welcome if you want. The following day he came in. And he saw it's true. It's more precious than pearls and diamonds. He continued coming. After 3 weeks, he started keeping Shabbos. By the end of the year, he was full-fledged frum. And therefore, the 4 million shekels that he got, now he's going to give money to the Maisa, to the aniyim that he's going to decide. When you listen to a chacham, you go and ask a shaila, and you listen to Gedolei Hador, you will never stumble. And the rabbi continued, and he listened, and we created another Yid. Keeping Torah and mitzvahs today is a full-fledged Shomer Torah and mitzvahs. Let's ask another shaila. This is coming from up north. You know, a few years ago, there were all kinds of missiles and all kinds of problems in north. So people were very afraid. There's a lady who became a Balas Teshuva. Very careful and strict to observe everything. But her husband, very not Baal Teshuva. The lady came with a shaila. Tell me, I don't have a mezuzah on the doorpost. Am I allowed to steal money from my husband in order to buy a mezuzah to put on the doorpost? How can you have a Jewish house without a mezuzah on the doorpost? What kind of Jewish house is it? But if I'm going to tell my husband, listen, let's spend a few dollars. She says, what? No, it's protection for the house. It's not a protection. Doesn't do anything. It's a waste of money. He doesn't believe in it. So can I steal some money from my husband in order to protect the house, in order to do the will of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to put a mezuzah on the doorpost? Rabbi say, what do you say?
Doesn't already have an obligation to provide her with so I would come up that he is obligated to provide her with house mezuzahs already?
That's exactly why she's asking. A husband who gets married signs on the ksuba that he will support his wife in various ways. If she becomes sick, he has to heal her. If she's kidnapped, he has to release her. He has to provide clothing and food and also a roof over her head. A Jewish house is defined by 4 walls with a mezuzah. That's why she's asking what she's asking. He is not providing it for me. So he's not doing what he's supposed to. So can I help him, even though he doesn't know, to do what he needs to do? Sorry.
No.
No. Why not?
She can't steal to do it. Then like can't use stolen goods to buy.
It's my own husband. I'm not stealing someone else. And you know what I plan to do? I'm planning to steal from my husband. And when he's going to see these mezuzahs, I'm going to tell him, you know, this chesed organization, there's all kinds of chesed organizations. There's Chabad, and there's Gateways, and all kinds of people that love helping other Jews. And they sent us some mezuzahs. So would you mind putting them up? If he will see that somebody else sent it, he didn't have to spend $1 on it, he would do it.
So now she lies.
Correct.
So that's good.
I'm asking you.
No.
I believe, I'm trying to remember what the source, but I don't remember. I don't later on. It says you can do a mitzvah to somebody without their consent, even if they don't know it's being done for them, because it's considered such a hiddush to do it. It exactly says that. Yeah.
I think you may be thinking about the reverse. It's a sugya in Shabbos Daf Daled and Eruvin Lamed Beis, a big toisvis over there on the left-hand side. Can you sin in order to save someone? But you're saying the reverse.
There's also
Are you suggesting zachin la'adam shelo befanav? You're allowed to do something for another person, to acquire something for him, even though he's not aware of it?
yeah.
But that's not exactly about doing a mitzvah. You're allowed to acquire assets for somebody, even though he is not aware of it. I'm not sure that the Rambam says about doing a mitzvah.
I don't remember where it says it. I know it's not may not be the Rambam.
Okay, so for next time you have to find me the source.
I just remember hearing it that you can do, because they will approve it. They will approve that when you do the mitzvah, they'll, even without their neshama, will be happy that you did it. For
So
them.
this is what she wants to know. Can she do that? So you're saying yes. But your friend said you're not allowed to. What's that?
The main thing the husband's supposed to supply to her to have
Is a house. A Jewish house is defined with one with a mezuzah.
supply, basically.
So he didn't supply what he's supposed to.
Didn't supply, so basically.
So you're helping him avoid doing something wrong. You're helping him
To
doing.
help him still keep in the marriage. Or by
So you're saying go for it.
To go into be married.
You're saying go for it.
Definitely.
So you would suggest stealing a lot of money for a beautiful mezuzah or just a regular kosher standard?
Just whatever is the.
Just to get by. Anyone disagrees?
Shalom Bayis is not, the Torah said it's a willing to raise his name for Shalom Bayis, therefore, Shalom Bayis
HaKadosh Baruch Hu says in Parshas Naso and Bamidbar that in order to ensure there's Shalom Bayis, even though there's an Isur Torah to erase Hashem's name, Hashem allows you to erase His name. When the Isha Soita comes along, in Beis HaMikdash, we erase Hashem's name just to maintain Hashem's name. So therefore you're saying it's better to continue living in a place without a mezuzah, but we found a fix. We found a way to have the mezuzah and still have the Shalom Bayis, because she's going to tell him, I didn't steal. Somebody sent this to us. There's great Jews around and they love helping other Jews.
If I care, it's going to be Shalom Bayis' problem if there's no mezuzah.
You hear that? Maybe it's going to be a bigger problem to the Shalom Bayis because there is no mezuzah, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't like when people don't do what He commands us to do. She should.
Because that's a one-time act. She stole one. So the people living in Israel they might not.
Very good. Very good. We just have to question if it's correct. According to the Mordechai is one of the Rishonim, there is no issue to live in a place without a mezuzah. The Torah commands a mitzvah's essay, a positive mitzvah. Thou shalt place a mezuzah on the doorpost. It doesn't say in the negative formulation, you're not allowed to live in a place without a mezuzah. And therefore she's not transgressing every minute. He is nullifying a mitzvah essay, a positive mitzvah, to put the mezuzah, but one is allowed to live in a place without a mezuzah. So the answer to this lady was, she should not steal for a few reasons. First of all, you're not transgressing an issue. Second of all, it's not even your house. It belongs to the husband. The mitzvah is on his shoulders, not on yours. And therefore, you're not doing anything wrong. And you are allowed to live in this house. Your husband is doing something very, very wrong. But imagine, if you steal, and ultimately, he will find out. Can you imagine the Chilul Hashem that's going to come out of it? Oh, great religion you have there. Great religion. Stealing in order to do a mitzvah? Beautiful. I really want to be showing me Torah mitzvahs now. tremendous chilul Hashem. Since she is be'oines, she is forced not to do this mitzvah, and it's not even her house. And the Mordechai who taught us that there is no issue to live in a place like this, and therefore the answer to her was, do not steal in order to put a mezuzah. Since we have just a few minutes left, I want to finish with some observations about yesterday's parsha. We read about Avraham Avinu. And the parsha starts with tremendous praise that Chazal give to Avraham Avinu for Achnasas Orchim. So much so that in Shabbos Kuf Chav Zayin, Chazal say, greater it is to receive the guest than to be talking to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tremendous praise. At the end of the parsha, again, unbelievable praise. Avraham Avinu was willing to shecht, to slaughter his own son. But if you analyze these two acts, they're useless. You're giving food and drinks to whom? The angels. They don't eat it. They don't eat and they don't drink. So your whole effort here, 99 years old, hot, boiling outside. 3 days after your circumcision, you're weak and tired. It was for naught. Wasteless effort. Akedas Yitzchak. You're going with Yitzchak. A whole big production. 3 days. You're taking Eliezer and Ishmael. And at the end, you didn't even slaughter him. Wasteless effort. The answer is, HaKadosh Baruch Hu does not look at the result. He doesn't care what's going to happen tomorrow because it's not up to you. What's going to happen in HaKadosh Baruch Hu's world is HaKadosh Baruch Hu's decision. What you have to do is what you have to do today. And what's going to happen as a result tomorrow has nothing to do with you. It's not your cheshbonos. The biggest proof. Last week, Parsha Lech Lecha. Avraham Avinu converts multitudes of people. How many people? The Lashon of the Rambam. Nikbetzu elav revavos ve'alafim. Tens of thousands of people gathered to Avraham and he converted them. Tell me, where are they? Where are all those people? We're talking about tens of thousands. Where are they? The most amazing answer is found in Medrash Perkei Rebbe Eliezer, and the Medrash says, "Vechulan chazru lesuram," and they all went sour. They all went back. What a waste of time! No, it's not a waste of time, because HaKadosh Baruch Hu praises him in his Torah and says, "Ve'es hanefesh asher asu becharan." The souls they had created, they fashioned in Haran. What do you mean create? You create souls? Yes, when you convert them. But wait a second, they all went sour. So what good was that? The answer is, if HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants them back, he will find a way to bring them back. And if HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't want them back, he won't bring them back, but it's not up to you. What you have to do is do what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants every single day, all day long. What will happen as a result is HaKadosh Baruch Hu's cheshbon, not yours. And perhaps what is the biggest praise to Avraham Avinu? HaKadosh Baruch Hu commands him, I want you to go now to Shech Yitzchak. No problem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He takes out his GPS. What address? Just start walking. Ve'ha'alehu sham le'oila al echad eharim. You're going to be pointed over there to one of the mountains. Yeah, but where? I just want to put in the address. What address? Destination unknown. What do you mean? Avraham Avinu says to Kodesh Baruch Hu, wait a second. Who do I call? CNN? Maybe too much to the left. Fox News? Can I have some of my friends there? Facebook? Instagram? I'll be able. This is the biggest opportunity for Kiddush Hashem ever in the history. A man who is 99 years, 100 years old, is willing to shecht his son, that Hashem promised him, this will be your continuation. Klal Yisrael will come out from this. It doesn't make a difference. Kodesh Baruch Hu, I love you and I'm willing to do this. But let's make it big. We'll put flyers all over. It's the generation of social media. Let's make it happen. And the Kodesh Baruch Hu says, no, you know who's going to be there? You, Yitzchak, me, and one ram. Avraham Avinu says, that's a waste of time. It's just a waste. Such a big opportunity, just us, let's make it big. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu says no. And that's the biggest praise to Avraham Avinu. Because everybody is willing to be Moiser Nefesh once. Something spectacular. And tomorrow I'm going to be in the paper. And for the next week, they're going to talk about me on the radio and TV, all over, all the magazines, front cover. But to be willing to do the right thing every single day, all day, when nobody is watching, that's the biggest praise. You're going to commit now the biggest thing ever. Shechting your son when no one is around. No pictures, no internet, no fax, no SMS, no nothing. The biggest praise. The biggest accolade to a person is that he's willing to do what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants every single day, all day long, even though he's in four walls and no one watches. So I want to just end with saying something which may seem provocative. Maybe I will sound like a heretic, but nobody is recording this, right? Only one person. Door is closed, nobody's listening? Okay. You know what I think? The biggest praise, Akedas Yitzchak, is way, way overrated. Not impressive, not a big deal at all. Thought you were going to throw something at me. I'll tell you why. Avraham Avinu is the biggest ma'amin in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, is the biggest believer in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, right? It's a no-brainer that if HaKadosh Baruch Hu calls and says, listen, I want you to go shech your son now. Okay, you're Hashem. It's your world, not mine. I may be disappointed, but it's, after all, your world. So of course he's going to do it. What's the chiddush? What's the novel thing here? Whoa, Avraham Avinu, 100 years old, willing to shech his son. Of course he will. Avraham Avinu was willing to go into the fire for Hashem and was willing to do everything for Hashem. He understands that everything he has, and including this son, is only from Hashem, so why wouldn't he do it? It's not a big deal, and I don't think it's impressive. It's not my question. Two great people asked this question. The Netziv, the HaMekdava, and the Shem Yishmuel. The Netziv says, you know what the test was? Not if he's going to do it. Of course Avraham Avinu is going to do it. The test was, let's see, are you going to ask any questions? Of course you're going to do it, but will you doubt HaKadosh Baruch Hu? And Avraham Avinu gets up in the morning and runs to do it. No questions asked. And that's the big challenge that he passed. And that's his biggest praise. But the answer of the Shem Mishmuel is an unbelievable answer. Says the Shem Mishmuel, Sochachover Rebbe, the son of the Avnei Nezer. The challenge was to Avram, we know you're going to do it, but let's see what your emotional reaction will be when you hear you have to shech your son. What was the emotional reaction of Avraham Avinu? Vayashkem Avraham Aboker. He rose up real early. First flight out, 4 o'clock, 4 a.m. He was in Newark. Wait, you don't go 4 o'clock in the morning when you're not excited and happy about it. So Avraham Avinu was happy and he passed the test. But if that's not conclusive evidence, the biggest one comes a little later. While he's about to shech Yitzchak, suddenly he hears an angel saying, Al tishlach yadcha lana, stop, don't do it. And we have a rule. In Shabbos Daf Lamed Beis, Chazal say, Ein hashchina shoira ela mitoch simcha shel dvar mitzvah. Shchina, communication with the Kodesh Baruch Hu, can only happen if you're happy doing a mitzvah. So it must be that Avraham Avinu was happy. That's the challenge that he passed. Let's take it a step further. Imagine Avraham Avinu did it because he had to do it. Sometimes your wife tells you, you got to throw out the garbage. So you do it. You better do what your wife tells you, but you're not excited about it. Avraham Avinu was happy doing it. How do you know? Because he had communication with Hashem. So let's imagine Avraham Avinu goes out to shech him because the Kodesh Baruch Hu commanded, but he's not happy. What would happen? He wouldn't hear the angel. If he wouldn't hear the angel, he would shech Yitzchak. If he shechs Yitzchak, there is no Yaakov. If there is no Yaakov, there are no 12 tribes, and there is no Tiferet, Bachurim, Somerset, New Jersey, all of us here today. So again, why are we here today? Because many years ago, our collective grandfather did one mitzvah, besimcha. He was happy doing the will of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Imagine what a mitzvah besimcha can do. What it can create years later. So mitzvah Hashem. We should all be zoiche to do all the mitzvahs of Hashem all day long, every day, with tremendous excitement. Simcha, Islavus. We are the chosen people. HaKadosh Baruch Hu selected us. There's so many people around, but He decided, no, you. I want you to be my special people. Carrying it all my mitzvahs and becoming a mamleches koyadim vegoy kadosh. It's a tremendous chus to be here today, and I thank all of you for being involved in sharing Torah Mitzvah Hashem. The next year we will share together. We'll be in Eretz Yisrael where we're all holding hands, dancing in front of Beis Hamikdash with Mashiach Tzidkenu. Amen.